Welcome to the Membership Guys podcast. Kick-ass advice and tips for membership site owners.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 215 of the Membership Guys podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, one half of the Membership Guys. You are in the number one place to be for proven practical tips on growing a successful membership business. Today, we're talking all about cancellations. Like it or not, cancellations are going to happen. Now, hopefully, if you run your membership site well, then those cancellations are going to come at the end of a long and happy tenure for your members. But regardless, they're going to happen. Cancellations are inevitable. They're just an organic part of the member life cycle. But how you deal with member cancellations is key. It has numerous implications for the continued success of your membership site. So it's real important to know how to handle them and what to do, but more importantly, what not to do when somebody cancels their membership. Now, as hard as it may be, especially in the earlier days of your membership, you really need to try not to take cancellations personally or interpret them as meaning that your product simply isn't up to scratch or that your members are unhappy. People will leave your membership for a variety of reasons, so it's important to ensure that you're handling the whole cancellation process in a manner that doesn't leave a bad taste in the mouth of the member who's on their way out. First thing you should do is make an attempt to change their mind. So, as someone's going through the cancellation process, even if they are dead set on leaving your site, your members could actually end up taking a great deal of offense if you don't at least make a cursory attempt to keep them on board. You know, if someone's looking to cancel and there's no indication whatsoever on your website that you give a damn about the fact that you're losing a member, that can actually rub people up the wrong way. Now, assuming your website has a page for cancellations, so that's somewhere that someone can actually go to on your site and either cancel their own account or find information on who to contact if they need to go through a manual process. So if they need to send you an email or fill in a form or something like that, presumably there'll be somewhere on your website where someone goes to if they intend to cancel their membership. Then this is a prime spot, a prime location for you to make some sort of final appeal to try and encourage your departing member to stick around. If you want to add a personal touch, you could try adding a video to this page, maybe one that you update regularly that outlines some of the exciting stuff that you have planned for the future in your membership that you would hate for that person to miss out on. You might even ask someone who's planning on leaving to email you or your support team before they make that final decision in order to give you an opportunity to address any issues before they totally cut ties. Perhaps you even give them the ability to book in for a quick 10 to 15 minute call with you where you can actually discuss any particular reasons why they're leaving in person. You know, we said people will leave your membership for a variety of reasons. It may well be that they feel that they're at the end of their journey, but actually perhaps they're not really realizing just how much work there's still to come, and just getting them on a call where you can actually dig into the reasons they want to leave, that could afford you the opportunity to better inform them so that they have all the facts, all the info, and they can take that into consideration when they're weighing up whether or not they actually still want to cancel. You might want to even offer an alternative payment plan, maybe the option to pause their membership, or perhaps even some sort of downsell to a lower priced membership level or a scaled back version of your membership. Now, this sort of stuff isn't going to change everyone's mind, but even if by doing this, by making that final appeal, by stepping in and at least trying to affect that final decision about cancellation, even if this only helps you to salvage just 10% of members who would potentially leave your site otherwise, then the minimal effort that it takes on your part to at least try, to at least attempt to make this final plea to your members, it's going to be worth it. So definitely make sure that you make an attempt to change the mind of anyone who's going through the cancellation process. Next thing you should do is ensure that you're surveying your lapsed members. feedback on the reasons why people leave your membership is so extremely valuable, as this will highlight any holes in your strategy or weaknesses in your product. So it makes total sense to survey the members who've left your membership or members who are on their way out of the door. Now, you don't want this to be an obstacle. You don't want to annoy them by putting a 100-question survey in the way of them being able to leave. And particularly if you're surveying people who've already left, maybe they left months or even years ago, then you're perhaps asking for a bit too much goodwill if you send them a lengthy survey. So you want to keep it brief. You might even limit it to a single question. Something like, please let us know why you're leaving, or please let us know why you left, and then just letting people type whatever they want. It's real easy to set up a basic survey using something like SurveyMonkey, Typeform, Gravity Forms, Woo Forms. There's all sorts of different tools out there. And then you could either place this survey on the pre-cancellation page, so the page someone goes to if they want to start the cancellation process. Or if you don't want to add too much friction into the cancellation process, you could put it on the page someone sees after they've gone through the cancellation. So once they've confirmed that their subscription is ended, then that might be a good place to place this survey as well. Or just send it out by email to your lapsed members a couple of weeks or a few months after they've gone. The responses you get from this sort of survey should give you some action points to work on. If you want to get more honest feedback, then you might want to consider making the survey anonymous. People are going to be far more likely to just give you the straight up truth if they don't need to sign their name to it. Whereas if their name's on it, they might be a little more worried about upsetting you or offending you, and as a result, you're not going to get the data you need. Now, if you choose not to make it anonymous, and you do ask people to fill in their email address and their name when they complete the survey, that does also then give you the opportunity to follow up with their responses and to try and address that person's problems directly as well. So there's definitely a pros and cons to making the survey anonymous. Third thing you should try to do, definitely try to win your customers back further down the road. This is the entire reason why you don't want to make the cancellation process a painful one. You don't want there to be too much friction or make people jump through too many hoops, because cancellation is never the end of the journey. There's always scope to win your ex-members back. Circumstances change, and over time, people who have left your site may find themselves missing being part of your membership. They may find themselves wishing they'd never gone, or maybe they're in a better position to rejoin. Maybe it just makes more sense in the context of where they are when they cancel versus where they might be 6 months down the road. So you definitely want some sort of win-back campaign. Now, if your email marketing provider has automation features, so they enable you to set up email series and fancy automations and stuff, then you could use those tools to set it so that anyone who cancels or anyone who lets their membership expires gets put onto a special lapsed members, cancelled members list. So the purpose of this would be to enable you to run a very brief win-back sequence a few months after somebody's cancelled. Now, you don't want to put people on an ex-members list and then just start bombarding them with spam week in, week out, begging them to return. You don't want to be that needy ex who will not let it go. But certainly, once a bit of time has passed, 2 to 3 months, then it's advantageous to still have someone on your email list and to use automation in order to send them a brief but targeted win-back campaign. Now, you do have to tread carefully. You don't want to come on too strong. You don't want to be blasting out endless emails, because really it's not going to go down well. As we said, you don't want to be that obsessive ex. Simply sending an email to let someone know that you miss them as a member, perhaps to give them a special offer if they wanted to return, maybe to let them know after a few months what new content or what changes have been added. This sort of stuff gives you an opportunity to win your members back without annoying the hell out of them by hammering their inbox. Something else you could do that doesn't involve email is to actually make use of remarketing and retargeting through the likes of Facebook and Google. So both of these platforms give you the ability to target ads towards people who have visited certain pages on your website or completed certain actions. Now, if someone cancels their membership, then if they're going through the process themselves, so if you allow people to self-manage their account, then presumably once they've clicked that cancel button, they've gone through the process, process, there'll be a page on your website that they land on that confirms that their account has been cancelled. Now, you can use the URL of that page as a basis for showing remarketing ads through Facebook or through Google. So you can set it up so that anybody who has viewed that page, because the only people who would view that page are people who have left your membership. You could have these ads only targeting people who viewed that page in the last 180 days, or, they've viewed that page in a time span that's greater than 120 days, but less than 180 days. However you want to target this, being able to actually really, really zero down and laser focus ads on Facebook just to your lapsed members enables you to tailor that messaging in line with the sort of stuff we just talked about there, in line with letting people know, hey, it's been a few months. We've really missed you. If you wanted to come back, here's a special offer just for this weekend. Or, hey, it's been a few months since you were a member. Check out this article in which we outline some of the big changes we've made since you left. That kind of targeting and that use of remarketing ads, again, it's a real great tactic to use in your efforts to try to win back your ex-members further on down the road. So, first and foremost, when it comes to cancellations, again, you don't want to be burning your bridges and you definitely don't want to take it personally. Cancellations are just a natural part of the member life cycle. Make sure you're definitely making an attempt to change the mind of someone who's thinking about leaving. You don't want to make it hard. We always say make the decision to cancel difficult, but the process easy. You don't want to stand in people's way and block the door because that'll cause resentment, and then those guys are never going to come back. They're going to say lots of negative stuff about you. They're not going to recommend anyone to you. So make the process easy, but the decision difficult. And a way of making the decision difficult is just by making that last-ditch attempt to change their mind. Give people the option of getting in touch with you and having a brief chat before they go. Have a little video on the cancellation page, making your case for why someone should stick around. So definitely make an attempt to change their mind. Make sure you're gathering feedback from people who are leaving and people who have left maybe several months ago in order to identify any gaps or any issues that you could potentially address within your membership. And definitely make an attempt to win your customers back further down the road. Cancellation is not the end of the journey. There's always scope to get ex-members to come back. So these are some of the things you should be doing to make sure you're handling cancellations in a positive way. But there's definitely a right and a wrong way of dealing with user cancellations. Now, I'm sure that if you had things your way, your members would never leave. I know if I could, rub a magic lamp and have just one wish, it would be that every single person who joins Membership Academy stays there forever, never even considers leaving. But, that's just a pipe dream. There's nothing wrong with having a desire to wish that your members would never leave. However, some people take this sentiment a little too far, to the point where they go out of their way to try to stop people leaving their site. The logic behind this is flawed. You cannot force someone to want to remain a part of your membership site. And even if you could, why would you want to keep someone around who absolutely does not want to be there? So, some of the big no-nos when it comes to cancellations. First and foremost, making it deliberately difficult to cancel. Again, as we said, make the decision difficult, but the process easy. One of the big faux pas that people make when they're trying to keep their cancellation numbers down is they overcomplicate, they craft and design this cancellation process that's deliberately difficult, overly convoluted, in the hopes that if they make it real hard to cancel, people just won't cancel. They'll give up. It's too much hassle. So they'll remove any option, any functionality that allows people to cancel their own subscriptions. They make it hard for them to find, where to go, who to contact, what to do. And then they end up giving people the runaround when they eventually find someone to call or email to request a cancellation. This is such a dumb approach. There's so little point in doing this, where essentially you are just hoping that you can frustrate someone into submission and then maybe they'll forget that they were going to cancel. Now, considering that the most popular payment processors used by membership owners, like PayPal and Stripe, actually have the facility for the customer to cancel their subscription payments at their end, then if someone has no luck canceling through your site, they're going to find another way out. If somebody's used a credit card to pay for their subscription, as many people do, then if you don't make it easy for them to cancel, it's going to be a lot easier for them to just submit a fraud claim against you via their credit card company. And that's something that can have serious implications for your ability to continue doing business. Same as if you're taking payments by PayPal. Not only can someone log into their PayPal account and manually cancel their subscription via that tool anyway, so again, this just negates you giving them the runaround in your overly complicated process. But also, if they file a complaint against you through PayPal, then, you get enough of those, PayPal will freeze your account, they'll shut you out of being able to do business. So it's self-defeating. It's far better not to stand in the way of someone who's looking to cancel and instead capitalize on the opportunity to try to change their mind or to help them discover something about your membership that maybe they hadn't previously realized and maybe might be enough for them to want to stay around. Or at the very least, to identify the reason that that person wants to leave and then leverage this to improve your product or your processes. So standing in the way of someone who wants to cancel, making the process a painful, difficult one is dumb. Do not do it. You're going to burn your bridge with that member. And as we talked about before, so many people who leave will eventually come back, but that is not going to happen if you've made the outgoing process, if you made the exiting of your membership an absolute nightmare. Another tactic we see people using is to insist on a cancellation period, during which time the outgoing member is presumably expected to continue payment. Now, unless a member signs a legally binding contract, you can't enforce this. You can't make someone stay for 90 days if they want to leave. And even if they do agree to this in your website's terms and conditions, then again, one, there's likely little you can do to actually enforce this because, hey, you tell me I need to keep paying you for 3 months before I can go. I'm going to PayPal, I'm going to my credit card company, I'm cancelling one way or another. And again, as we said, that's going to cause problems for you. So unless you plan on taking members to court for the sake of a few dollars and potentially embarrassing yourself when the judge turns around and says, yeah, just writing on a page that you have a 90-day cancellation period means nothing, then, again, it's dumb. Once again, it's so very likely that if you do try to stall someone from leaving, you do try to continue taking money from them, they're going to find another way of cancelling their subscription or blocking payment. So you're left in the same position as you would be if you just let them go. But actually, no, you're not left in the same position. You're left in a worse position because your relationship is torched, because the opportunity to get feedback, the opportunity to salvage the sale has gone, and you're just left with a very, very annoyed ex-member who will almost certainly tell everyone else to avoid you like the plague. So there's definitely a right way and definitely a wrong attitude when it comes to handling cancellations. And, I get it. Nobody likes to see their members leave, especially when we work so hard to get them in the first place. But when they do, it's far better to handle it in a dignified, positive manner and to attempt to get something good out of the situation rather than throwing a hissy fit and burning your bridges with someone on their way out. So hopefully this episode has given you something to think about as regards to your own cancellation processes. If you're a little worried that maybe you fall into the what not to do camp a bit more than you want to, then again, hopefully what we talked about is helping you to see the light of why you should handle cancellations in a far more positive manner and why it's self-defeating to be a pain in the butt when somebody wants to leave your membership. All right, that's it from me for this week. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. As always, we'd love to hear what you think. We'd love to get your feedback. If you're on Twitter, hit us up at Membership Guys. On Instagram, at Membership Guy. Singular, no guys. It's just me on Instagram. Or, of course, if you're in our free Facebook group at talkmemberships.com. We'd love to hear what you thought of the episode in there too. That is it. I am out of here and be back again next week with another installment of the Membership Guys podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Guys podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. The Membership Academy is the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a membership website. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be, or whether your website is already up and running and you're just looking for ways to grow it and attract new members, then the Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive member-only discounts, perks, and tools, and a supportive, active community to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice, the Membership Academy is the perfect place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership website. Check it out at membershipacademy.com.